Okay. So I don't remember where I left off the last story because I'm currently in a mental health facility where they take your SIN card because I don't know, whatever made up fucking reason. So I think last I spoke of, we're gonna say Sinbad, we're gonna call him that, and his Chinese friend were saying goodbye. I went into the my hotel and I was crying and crying, and basically what was running through my mind was that like I have a suicidal tendency boyfriend at the time, and we had said cheating is cheating even if you're drunk, and I just didn't have the guts to fucking tell him I was gonna wait until whatever. So let's speed this shit up a bit. So I go back to school, everything's fine. I go to my with my mom. The guy's still texting me, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I end up hanging out with this guy, and he's a monk. It turns out he used to have some sort of mental health thing, and then he went and was a monk for a while and whatever. So he's taking me to all these spiritual places, like all these temples and everything. Like, you're not allowed to wear certain clothing and blah 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 blah. At the end of the trip, we say goodbye and I'm off to BC. That's where I left off, I think. So I go to BC. I'm totally jazzed on like anxiety energy from, oh my god, this is one step closer to having to say whatever to my boyfriend, or my boyfriend at the time. And so when I start noticing the manic symptoms is I go get high with a friend of mine, and she basically like runs away from me. Like, we're having a good time, but I hear people and they're like yelling things at us, and I'll yell back like "fuck you," like "what are you fucking doing?" And then they would be like what? And then I had told my friend at the start of the walk that before we got high, like, oh my god, my energy is so crazy, like you have to help me keep it down, type of thing. And then as we were walking, she said something as we were high that I was like, that's rude. So I said something back in like a joking way. Um, and she got all quiet for a while, and then like about 5 minutes later she just slowly started walking faster than me, and I slowly started following her, and then she just kept going, and I was like, oh, because my friend does this, like she'll just like randomly run away, like she has a really weird, I don't know, like fight or flight symptom or whatever. So she runs away from me. So I was like stressed out because I came all this way to BC to hang out with her, and she's fucking running away from me because I'm being weird, or I don't know what. Like, I honestly to this day, I've never like we've never really talked about why the fuck she thought she could run away. I think it has something to do with she showed me a picture, and she's like, "Oh, does it look good?" And in this picture, she was like with like scarves around her. So I was like, well, it's and like her bags of her eyes were like the focal point of the picture. So I was like, well, looks like you have bags in your eyes. And I also wanted to say it looks like a MySpace type of picture. Like, I'm not really into it. And she's like, oh well, so and so liked it. And I was like, good for so and so. Like, ask my opinion, get my opinion. Like, what the fuck. Anyways, so we're there. Oh fuck. And then the Moose tour starts. Okay, so I guess the Moose tour is where I really started noticing manic. It's hard to say, right? Because it's like in hindsight, there's all these like maybe clues, but to be able to explain to you like really good ones, like a really good one I have is like way later when I was manic. Um, I was chewing on this root that I know to be called Wike, so I'm like chewing it, and then I hear a voice in my head, and it was like, "What is that? Is that? Oh, it's sweet. It's a bitter root or whatever." And I was like, what the fuck? Like, hearing voices. This is later when I'm like used to hearing voices in my head. So later I Google it, and bitter root is another name for Wike. So it could be said that bitter root was in my subconscious and I pulled it out in order to make that voice happen, or I actually spiritually heard some other spirit commenting on what the fuck was in my mouth. Like, so fucked up. But I'm gonna leave it here for now. Probably when if I edit this, I'll just keep going. But for right now, even thinking about the moose tour is pissing me off, and I'm in like a mental health facility right now. I want to see my that's the bear I made. It says a bunch of stuff. Here's my books that I am trying to get through, which won't happen. Here's my altar, we'll call it. cord cutting meditation. That is important. Ah, my altar. Okay, bye.